Warm Down Pod with Jose and Sasi.
The Warm Down Pod is brought to you by SW Strategies and Fight Zone and is recorded at 24A Am Siang Road. Trigger warning, this recording may include harsh words, and we apologize in advance if you are offended.
Welcome back to another episode of the Warm Down Pod. Actually, there's going to be 2 episodes today, right?
Yeah.
And with me is Sasi, the CEO of Fight Zone. And Sasi, what's happening?
Everything's happening, man. Everything is coming to the end of the season. People have won the leagues. I'm just focusing on work and watching as much football as I can.
Yeah, man, a lot of stuff happening. There's going to be Singapore, Mongolia, Singapore versus China. There's going to be World Cup, right?
Exactly.
And I think we wanted to have a break for a week, not because we were busy, but we wanted to let the season end, the SPL season end, and also to have the winners of the various awards get.
Let's put the awards, right? Yeah.
And so now that it's done and dusted, here we are, and we are going to record 2 episodes today to talk about the Singapore Premier League and obviously the season which just ended.
And what we feel generally about everything that happened, right?
First up, tell me what your thoughts are about the J-League Awards night.
Okay, yeah, now that you mentioned, Golden Boot, Young Player of the Year, Player of the Year,
Coach of the Year. Yeah.
My freaking God. So the local player of the year as well.
What are we going through the Japanese occupation all over again? What's going on?
Come here and think about it. Albirex being a foreign team, right? Bring in a batch of foreigners all the time, right? And every time is a different group of foreigners, and everybody's quality.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've got nothing against Albirex, especially for being able to bring in a lot of these players over the last, since they started playing in Singapore 2003. There have been many players from Japan who've come through who have actually
a lot of players have then moved on to local clubs, right?
Yeah, if I like to go back 23 years or so, there was a player, Izzy Nakajima, in Albirex, and went on to represent Canada, right? They do actually have contributed a lot to the league. And I honestly, do you think Hide deserves the Player of the Year award?
Whether he deserves it, he wasn't my actual pick. Right? I was even surprised that he would be in the top 3. Yeah, that was my honest thoughts. Then I went back to watch some of his highlights, just to tell myself, okay, maybe I missed some of his good points and all that, right? So I didn't expect him to be in the top 3. And then when he won, I was like, okay, my thoughts are very good technically, right? We were always in the right spot, actually. Could have actually, to think about it, the Golden Boot was between him and Nakano, which is 2 Japanese, right?
No, but you know what? I have an issue with it being Player of the Year. First and foremost, companies won jack shit. Nothing. The team which won the double were the Lions Lee Sailors. Are you telling me that in that team, there's no player who deserves to be Player of the Year? And that's why I think there's always a bias against players who are not goal scorers. And the goal scorers always end up winning Player of the Year.
Yeah.
You look at history, right? The goal scorers always end up winning Player of the Year. And you know what? That's bollocks. Because I know in Lions League there was a player who stood out for me, Ndenge, because he was steady at the back. Yeah. And he just goes forward, he pushes the ball, he wins the ball. And he was solid. Yeah. And you know what? How is it he just because he scores goals, one Player of the Year? What he bicycle kick every single goal or what? No, right? What was he doing which was apart from him scoring goals, and he's not even the Golden Boot winner.
Yeah. And he's not even a Golden Boot winner, yeah, precisely.
Why he paid? Why? Japanese occupation.
So we go just by goals, right? Yeah. You should be Nakano, right? Yeah, but Nakano wasn't even nominated.
Nakano is, he's a Young Player of the Year. And honestly, rightfully, even then I have a dispute with that because I think there were other players who probably were up there along with him, but did not score goals.
Yeah.
How is it how is Nakano scoring goals? Nakano is scoring goals because he's having support on the flanks.
Yeah.
Okay? Without the support from the flanks, Nakano is nowhere. Yeah. Because Nakano is not the kind of person who's taking the ball from midfield and taking it through the center to score. No, he's actually dependent on the cross, dependent on the field.
Yeah.
He's clinical.
There were some really worldly goals. I think there was one really good shot, remember? Top right corner, took the ball.
But here's the problem, okay? And this is something which I've noticed in terms of the trend, right? Can you name me who was the last local player who actually won an award of significance at the Singapore Premier League Awards. Okay, and you know what's going to make it worse? We've got lesser local players playing the league now because of the 7 foreigners. And you know what? Our own league, we don't have our players winning awards, which helps their careers. That's a cause for concern.
It is a cause for concern. If you look at the 7 foreigner rule, and then you look at 4 locals that get to play every game, right? And if you look at LCS and Kyoga, let's say Kyoga and Song is in the lineup, that is 2 locals for you already. When are actual locals going to get time to play? If nothing is done with the 7 foreigner rule, it's going to stay that way because in terms of percentage and numbers, nobody's going to set up. I mean, I think Shasha ran a very good season.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so he was a lot of companies may went through him to realize.
He would have a choice for player of the year for me. Okay, so you can see why it's actually quite
okay. So I was
thinking you are a parent of a child who's actually into football.
Okay, let me just bring into that, right? I was talking to my son yesterday and I was telling him there are players who score goals. There are players who defend. And there are only a few players that can change the course of the game. And those are your goods, right? Those are, for me, one player that comes to mind is Geylan's best score, right? Not this season. This season wasn't his best season, but seasons previously. Somebody that could change the course of the game, right? And I think the player of the year should be, on a side note, no one deserves the player of the year for EPL, right? Because he created so much. A player of the year should be someone that takes the scruff of takes the game by the neck and actually pulls it across the line. That's my thought process.
So just continuously giving it to the player who scores the most goals is just nonsense.
It's easy.
Yeah. So I would really like to be a fly on the wall, sit in these discussions when the choices are being made. But anyways, a completely separate note, the season is ended.
Let me just ask you, when you're going to fly on the wall, are you going to be Jose Raymond or are you going to be Jen?
I will be Joe. Don't see it. I will be. It'll be good for us to see what actually was discussed. Even KG Shigatomi, right?
Yeah.
Why? Just because they finished third? Why? They obviously they should have done better actually. The squad which Marko Kraljevic actually did to take them to fourth deserves some level of recognition. Exactly.
Michael to the year was Marco. To me, they had 2 massive games in Geylang, you know. In the end of the league, right? Oh my God.
So which is why I called it last night. It wasn't a Singapore Premier League Awards, it was the J League Awards.
He brought in foreigners. The foreigners was good. Was a guy's name? Katusha was one of my stand-up foreigners. And he made this move of bringing Tajeli Salema, which I felt, I always feel this guy is fantastic. It's just, for some reason, whatsoever.
Fine. I mean, we never expect that all players of football are going to be saints. And we expect that they're all supposed to be saints. Then we also
I agree.
The world's best players were all flawed in some ways. Maradona, V. Sundaramurthy. They're all flawed in some strange way. They're all Maradona snorting cocaine as he's celebrating a goal, right? Things like that. They are not saints. They're not meant to be saints. They're footballers, so let them be footballers. Let it be. You don't have to be what? Angels. No, it's good that and in the past we've had players like Ahmad Latif Kabarudi. It's like they're like so batu, but get the job done. If you need them most, they'll be there. You knock this guy, you'll get up and you'll stop playing. You'll see no, I'm sure exactly. He's in the dress, in the leading dressing. He's fighting the weight people. So
I know that.
All of that.
Jeez.
Anyway, so what was the highlights for you for this season?
I think highlights were, to me, honestly, I enjoyed some really good games. Recently, truly enjoyed was the Eastern Derby. And I didn't go down for the Malaysia case, but highlights were fantastic. It was very emotional, right? Between the two sides. And I loved Marco's post-match conferences. The guy, when he comes back and then he gives us a team. I thought they played punch the world their way. They did well, right? Those are my highlights. I wish that Sailors did better in the AFC the Asian Cups, right? I wish they did a bit better. I wish they didn't go off so softly, especially in the Shopee Cup, right? They deserve to win the league, obviously. And I'm glad that they didn't do it by big margin earlier. If not, we wouldn't have enjoyed all the games. At the end of the day, our league doesn't have promotion already.
Yeah.
The only thing we can enjoy is the top place and the AFC sports, right? That's the only thing we can enjoy. And at the end of the day, it was still close, right? It went down to the last 2 games, and then the AFC spot depended on who beat who in the end. And to also think about Jesus Casas just came a big name like Jesus Casas. And then lost 2 games with this quite pumped, right? I'm like, okay, he's like thinking, oh shit, what am I going to do next season, right? I got to make this squad stronger and try not to lose, right? So it goes to show that they can still be beaten. Albert's beat them.
The last 2 matches of the season, they already were champions. It's very hard to actually motivate a team to play when they're already champions.
Yeah,
right? It takes a lot of discipline. Plus, with the season already, may be leaving. I don't think they will go all out until someone was injured and whatever. And for the Singapore players like Haris and all that, they've got matches coming up, international matches coming up. So it wouldn't make sense.
One of my highlights of the season was also Haris coming back to playing really well. Although it was under Rankovic, I thought he was sublime. He was like a vintage car going smooth, man. Better than his previous seasons, I feel, right? I remember speaking to a parent earlier in the season and telling him, oh, Haris is back to what he used to be. Whatever he's doing, he's done it right. So I just hope he keeps fit, keeps in shape for the Asian Cup, right? Yeah.
So for me, one of the highlights of the season actually was the fact that watching how easy it was for Firdaus Qasim to hold on to his job despite having losses after losses. To me, that was one of the highlights.
Yeah.
One of the lowlights, basically one of the lowlights of the entire season was the refereeing inconsistency.
Yeah.
I think that really is something needs to be fixed big time, because it's just very clearly abysmal. It's just very poor quality when referees make different decisions for same incidents.
We make different decisions for, say, the same incidents, right? I wouldn't say like oppression. I think that one incident recently, a couple of weeks ago, where Jensen Fu was trying to hold back Tajiri Salamat from getting into it. He didn't have a lot of good games, honestly. Jensen Fu as a referee. But he did the right thing because he wanted to prevent something from escalating and he didn't want to give any more cards and all that. There is passion. Somebody has to lead this group of referees and actually tell them this is what we do, and be brave enough when you make an error to come out and say, no, this is how we're going to fix it from now on for these scenarios, and to be consistent about it. You get what I mean?
But it doesn't help when the head of referees department is hardly in the country or runs in and out of the country and racks up his fire miles, right? Oh, should I read Chairman of the Year? This is the award which was never given up, but we gave it out, right? Chairman of the Year, Bill Ng. Why citation? Because he allowed a player without valid permit to play in a game, which ended up gifting Young Lions with a win. That's the most praised fire miles. Subir Singh.
It was one more, right? The fastest exit or something like that. I read earlier.
Just escapist award, right? Kinoshi running away the moment he found out he's under investigation by MOM. And then you got the special Bugima award for the FS competition department for having the last round of matches on different days. And also for having a stupid Singapore Cup competition format. They had 2 teams playing into the final space of Sporting, merit, my ass. Alright? So those were some of my lowlights.
It is really not fair to the rest of the teams, right? A cup competition is where everybody gets to fight for something.
Exactly.
Everybody's on a level playing field.
Supposedly. In fact, you should probably get some of the winners of the NFL 1 to come and take part, or the NFL 2 to come and take part. Let them get hammered, but who knows, they might be able to beat Tanjong Pagar. Right.
You're absolutely right.
So they take away the romance of the cup and they created this bollocks of a competition, Sporting merit. But anyway, those are some of the lowlights for me, right? There's one, if I ask you this question right now, like which part of the season you'll never forget for the rest of your life? Or 20 years from now, you know, say, hey, Jose, that 2025, 2026 season, right? Oh, that thing, remember we shouted.
My point would be that Hougang player playing without a work permit.
Because I will be talking about 5 coaches in one season. Tampines Rovers.
Yeah, precisely. These 2 points. Amazing, right? 5 coaches is something you don't forget.
5 coaches.
For me, that how come play was also that they gifted Young Lions the first win, right?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
So charitable, so good. Yeah. So I'll always remember it because what got the whole ball rolling on Kimoshi, it was photographs which we exposed on TMSG, right? Yeah. So that's something which I always remember because we started the shit going. Because it's just not right.
Yeah.
So that's, but you know how sad it is when the stuff which we remember all this and then the refereeing debacles, the VAR debacles. Right?
Not only that, right, you also know some clubs already not managed well, right? Yeah. Obviously, Tampines with the 5 coaches, and then you got Hauga, and then obviously we got Tanjung.
Then, what you know, what, the one thing which I think this season, this 2025-2026 season, which I will also probably never forget, would be how Albrecht actually went all the way and they tried to push Tampines Rovers all the way till the end to try to nick them for the continental spot, right?
Yeah.
And the last match, I think, which is why that last match which Tampines had to play against Lion City Sailors, right? City Sailors already won the league.
Yeah.
And can you imagine the chairman? He was probably hoping for Lions City Sailors to beat them because that was the only result which would help them because they already had beaten the Lions the day before, right? And how do you motivate Lions City Sailors to actually go and beat them when they already won the league, right? And then Sailors takes the lead. Can you imagine, right? It's like Kaisuke Dorina, the chairman, Banzai, and after that, the equalizes, then the Sailors score it, Banzai, and basically,
it must be extra painful because I think they make the strap of moving Albrecht to the local club. Yeah. Because they wanted to go into continental competition.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I really hope that with the additions they're making, Honda is one of them, and whoever else they bring in, they really would be able to push. Because I like what Albrecht has done in the community and for the time they've been here. I take my hat off to them for really trying to embrace the community, reaching out to sponsorships, for sponsorships. But at least they have kept to their word of turning into a local club. And obviously next year there's going to be FC Jurong. And Jurong FC is a name which I hold very close to my heart because I was actually a youth player in Jurong FC before, in the 80s, until I was in the I was just about to come and tell you this, right? Until I was under 18, under 17, I was under Richard. Then 1 year later, I was under 18. And then we had a new coach because Richard Chu became the Premier League coach. And then a new coach was brought in to look after the under 18s. He's Vincent Subramaniam. The very first training session, after the training session, one of the players he pointed at was to me and said, I think you better go and study. He basically punctured my bubble and destroyed my football career. And a couple of years later, when I was a journalist, I met you and I said, you know what? You did the right thing for me.
But did he remember?
He didn't remember me. But when I told him about it, he actually said, when I asked. Because coaches hundreds of players, right?
Yeah.
And so, but
it is what it is.
Wrong. So I really hope.
Yeah. Albrecht, I have to admit, they run a very good Albrecht Cup for kids,
I want to see FC Jurong in the continental competitions, okay?
They have done everything I've never been to, I just want to mention this because a kids competition is so well organized. They got Japanese snacks, Japanese ice creams for sale. This is a kids competition and my son absolutely enjoys playing in the Albrecht Cup. One of the better organized cups by a team. You don't hear of a local team having a tournament, right? Like that. And these are all steps they put in to make the club what it is.
No, which is why I said, I take my hat off to them. They're doing things, with a lot of respect for the community. I remember when there's all these problems with Tampines Rovers, Horinaga actually put up a post, right? He was a social media post saying they don't treat the football clubs like a toy, right? Yeah. It belongs to the community. So that's the kind of value system which Horinaga brings to Albrecht. And like I said, I have a lot of respect for what they've done. They've been here 23 years without leaving.
Yeah.
Shows that they are committed, right? So in we're talking about Albrecht. So which of the foreigners actually stood out? I mean, we had 7 for each.
Bunch of right. If we go, Albrecht obviously had Nakaro, right? Young Player of the Year, great, sharp, Scott's solid goals, right? And then obviously Tampanese's Trembu Hagia. Ballas, I think he was one of my stand-up players. Obviously, LCS, I have 3, right? I want to mention Barham as well. I want to mention TV, although he goes quiet, he ran quiet in a lot of games, but ended up scoring a goal, right? And I think Billy, right, that no-nonsense, big burly defender at the back, right? For me, those 3 stood out at LCS. For me, I would say Trent. Yeah, that's about it, yeah. Yeah.
I'm a bit worried for them that I think they may not be able to go further in Asian continental competitions with the same team.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of rumors floating around in the market about players who are going to be heading to LCS, right? One name I've been told about was Shashan. I've been told Glenn Quay. They're moving to LCS. So let's see. I mean,
For me, honestly, local players moving to LCS, I don't know if it's the right decision.
yeah, take a look what happened to Izwan Mahmood, right? And then in the end, they had anyway. So, and but on the subject of that, which of the local players is not for you?
Charles Mahira. I have to give special mention to Harisara. These 2 local players, and then the guy that moved from LCS to Albirex that plays left back, is that? Zul, and then Suzlin. Yes. He stood up. I think, so the fact that he moved from LCS to secure him a starting spot, he made the spot his own. Started performing, even scored a goal recently. So he's involved in attacks. Got a call up. If he stayed in LCS, I don't think he would have got a call up. Being as good as he is. Another player was Abdul Razak. Abdul Razak going to Albirex was he got involved more. He played a different kind of stuff in Albirex. He was feeding Nakano as well. So my thought was, I wish he got a call up. He didn't, right? But you go to LCS as a local player, are you outstanding? If you're not, for one, I would like to mention one player in LCS. I think Hamid Shaheen is a fantastic player, right? Doesn't get enough game time, right? I think he's one of the best Singapore hands.
The funny thing is, right now we are as we record this, the United Kingdom is up in arms against Thomas Tuchel because of the list is announced for the World Cup, and there are a whole bunch of players who've been left out. Right? And I see the comments. Right, the problem is it's so difficult when you have got talent to pick, but we are we don't have enough talent.
Coming to Thomas Tuchel, to me, is a big thing, because I'm always one of those guys that says he's coming home and he doesn't come. So Thomas Tuchel was like, he said that I don't want to bring 5 players that play in the same position.
Correct.
All of a sudden, it made so much sense.
No, it's true. Exactly. So sometimes coaches don't explain themselves enough, but they look at a lot of things, right? So, and I completely agree with that, by the way. Okay, I completely agree with that. But the comments coming out of you is just hilarious. So the one of the funniest ones I read about was, or listened to, was how this is Germany seeking revenge for World War II. Right? The Germans it's sad, right? But we don't have that much time. Okay. And Gavin does not have that much choices. But even when he has got choices, he picks one player from the Young Lions. It also shows if we have a Young Lions squad, which is meant to be for development, but only one player, which is the Lions City Sailors blue-eyed boy, whom is being uplifted on a pedestal, is selected. How will the parents of all the other players who are in the Young Lions?
I honestly feel he wasn't standing out so much as if he's the only one going to be picked from the Young Lions. Don't you agree with me that he is going to be a stand-up player for the Young Lions? I think he wasn't this.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
He definitely wasn't.
He got the captain of the team though.
Yeah.
And I spoke to a parent recently that was really going at me about it and saying that, nothing against Nathan Mao. Oh, there's so many good players. I feel this player.
And completely so. And we're not being cynical about it, but that's the kind of conversations which are circling because the decision making seems to be a little bit off. And because the people who are running FPS are mostly the Lions City Sailors, all of these decisions can actually have a potential conflict of interest.
Definitely.
And do they not see it? Or do they see it and they don't give a fuck about it? I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. But you know what? That actually creates a problem with the situation, creates a problem with the system because trust is eroded.
Yeah.
So, anyway, coming towards the end of this particular discussion, and before we move into the second part of the podcast. So, Sasi, today, what is the one fitness tip which you have before we call this episode to an end?
Two things I want to talk about. I think these things go hand in hand, right? It is hydration and sleep, right? Two things, if you want to go start on a fat loss journey, two things you fix is your hydration. People don't drink enough water. I'm so guilty of not drinking enough water because I drink coffee all the time. Coffee is a diuretic.
Yes.
It makes you pass out water.
Yes.
And then you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
You feel sluggish the whole day. You don't have energy to get that workout in. And it's a whole damn cycle. And then you don't sleep enough. Whole extreme cycle. So if you are starting on a weight loss health journey, right? Anybody who starts on a weight loss journey has to do it for health reasons. I'm telling you, health reasons should be a priority. Get your hydration correct. Make sure you have enough water in you, right? Or get a hydration supplement to take with your water. Anybody that goes out, any fitness fanatic that actually starts doing that, long runs and all that, the normal 100 plus is not going to cut it for you. The amount of sodium you lose in that one run, if you look at 100 plus, it only has 100 mg of sodium in each serving, right? And you lose almost 1,000 mg in the long run, right? That is the basic thing I want to actually be clear of because I've seen people's performance increase when you add a very good hydration supplement. And the next thing is, please get your sleep.
Yeah.
If you are going to doom scrolling till 1 a.m. and then watching Netflix on your phone,
No, man, I'm just watching what Trump is up to.
and then falling asleep with your phone on you, no, it is not healthy sleep, right? So please get some sleep and start your day, right? Plan out your workouts early in the week so you know what time you are actually going to work out, what time you're going to sleep the day before. Don't do it not planned. Yeah, that's my 2 cents for today.
All right. And on that note, we will take a break and we will come back with the next episode in a while. And thank you very much. And don't go too far.
See you guys soon.
Warm down pod with Jose and Sasi.
The Warm Down Pod is brought to you by SW Strategies and Fight Zone. Tune in again next week for another episode.